Welcome to Transform Relationships podcast, sharing with you authentic and relatable conversations on the ups and downs, the ins and outs on all things relationships. Hi there, I'm your host, Diane Rooker. I'm a psychotherapist, a counsellor and a hypnotherapist. I work in private practice and I specialise in working with marriage and relationships. Hello and welcome back to podcast number 2, the 5 pillars to a happy and satisfying relationship, and why they are so important for all couples. Welcome back. Today I'll talk briefly about each pillar, giving an overview, then going into each of them a little deeper individually in future podcasts. So let's look at what the 5 pillars are. The 5 pillars have been created by myself based on my work with hundreds of couples. They're the pillars that can hold the relationship strong and steady when applied correctly. I provide the theory and how to apply them, and then it's over to the couple to apply this knowledge in and put it into practice. This is why my marriage package option is so effective, as it gives my clients the opportunities to practice these skills, and then we regroup and see how things are traveling. So it's always about learning. Relationships are always about learning, and there is so much to learn. It is a step-by-step process, slow and steady, always slow and steady. So let me share with you what my 5 pillars are. My 5 pillars to support a happy and satisfying relationship are: number 1, effective communication; number 2, responsibility; number 3, acceptance and understanding; number 4, compromise and change; number 5, common goals and direction. You know, as a couple, you may be applying 1 or 2 of these pillars, or you could really be rocking it and be applying all 5 of them, or high five to you. If that is you, well done, that's awesome. But the majority of people really need support with their relationship, and that's why I have put these pillars together. I put them together also because there was a distinct pattern between the couples of, this was a common theme. All of these 5 pillars, they were all coming up quite often as an issue between the couples. So when I share the pillars with my clients, it's not always in order. It could be 1 of them or 5 of them. It can begin at any number depending on where they are at in their relationship and what they need in their relationship. So today I'm just going to go through them all very briefly, just to give you an overview, and in future podcasts I will go a little bit deeper with each pillar. There is so much to every pillar. So let's start. Number 1, effective communication. This is one of the main keys to having a happy relationship, because you need this skill to be able to express correctly what you need in your relationship. What do you need for yourself? And if you don't know how to do this, it's going to be really difficult to achieve it. And let's face it, every action, every behavior, everything we do is to get a need met. Did you realize that? Just think about that for a moment. When you eat, when you sleep, when you be with your friends, it's all to get a need met. Go to work, you need money. Regardless of what it is, it's always to get a need met. So having your needs met in a relationship is extremely important. So how to deliver a message to your partner and how to receive the message successfully is the key. And this means where there is a resolution without turning it into conflict. So if you can deliver a message and receive a message without turning it into conflict, that's called effective communication. So when I see couples, one of the first questions I ask them is, why are you here? What is not working for you? What are you struggling with? And 9 out of 10 of them say, we can't communicate. We're struggling with communication. That's why learning how to communicate is extremely important. So some of the communication skills that I share with my clients are active listening, using I messages, being concrete and clear with the message that you're delivering, having to show empathy when you receive the message, to acknowledge when you've received the message, and non-verbal communication is also extremely important. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but as a human race, we are communicating less and less. Due to the screens, of course, people are already struggling to communicate. And now it's at the point where it affects not only couples, but it also affects children. And I must say, from a very, very young age. Kids are spending way too much time on their screens. And their parents are too, I must add. And they are losing their kids to the screens, and kids are losing their parents to the screens. So when you're looking at screens, we're not actually talking, we're not communicating, and we're losing this skill. It's like a muscle, we need to use it. And then there becomes a lack of respect between the parent and the child. So just imagine if they taught how to communicate at school. I think this would be a very, very different world than what we're living in right now. And unfortunately, they don't really teach you that at school. What we learn is we learn from our parents. So if they were poor communicators, then we would grow up being poor communicators unless we made an effort, read some books, and learned how to do it differently. So I'm going to talk more on this particular pillar in the next podcast. Number 2, responsibility. This may seem like a weird one, but it's actually quite huge. Responsibility can be applied to many aspects of a relationship. It's being responsible for your own needs, your triggers, your negative behaviors, and of course, being responsible for your partner's needs. Not knowing what they are, but actually being able to fulfill them, fulfill their bucket, fulfill their love bucket. So when you make the commitment to be a couple, there is a level of responsibility that comes along with that commitment. Being able to take responsibility within a relationship is a sign of great maturity and a willingness to be prepared to look more deeply into why you behave the way that you do, and to be able to say, I understand that my behavior has not been great, and I'm willing to change this for you because you are important to me. So now there are 2, not just one, to make sure that both parties are satisfied in the relationship and that needs are being met. See the common theme here of needs? It's so important. Some people believe that if their partner loves them, then they should know what they need. How I want to be loved without having to be told. News alert, people. We can't read minds. And if you want a hug, ask for one. That's your responsibility. Number 3, the third pillar is understanding and acceptance. Acceptance is so important in a relationship. As a human, we all want to be accepted for who we are. It's one pillar to having a successful relationship that's really strong. And accepting the little quirks of your partner, the differences, the flaws, the different personalities in ourselves, accepting ourselves and our partner is part of being in a relationship. It's the whole total of us that make us who we are. The darker side and the lighter side. It's just embracing it all. Changing what you want to change, but loving and embracing every other part of yourself and of your partner. That's true love. And to be able to accept, we need to understand first. Now, this takes a certain attitude to have in a relationship, and it takes awareness, dedication, and ultimately love. And this looks a bit like, I'm prepared to listen to you. I want to hear more about you. I want to work with you as a team. I want to understand you as an individual. I want you to have your own beliefs and behaviors. How does that sound? Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? So if we can learn to understand and accept all parts of ourselves and our partner, we can have better quality relationships. The more you know, the more you can work through things. And at times we can find it difficult to accept someone's behaviour as if it doesn't fit into how we see the world, what our values are. But when we can learn to let this go, and don't sweat the small stuff, just enjoy who and what we are. And remember, you chose each other at some point for who you were at that particular time. Remember why you chose your partner. I do want to make it clear though, that if your needs are not being met because of your partner's behaviour, and if this has a negative effect on you, then this does need to be altered. You need to both be satisfied with the end result. Number 4, we've got compromise and change. Oh, this is a real bugbear for so many people. It's a real funny pillar. Well, not funny, but I have clients coming in and saying that who I was when I was 20 years ago, when we first met, you liked me. And then that's who I was. So I really don't need to see the need to change. Well, guess what, guys? If that is your belief, yes, you do, because things change. And if your partner is asking for change, they have changed. So you really need to grow with them all the time, and all we need to be able to flow with them. A relationship needs to be fluid, to flow, so we don't become stuck and rigid. Fluidity in a relationship is crucial. It's crucial to its existence. It's crucial for it to continue. If we become rigid and stuck, we're just going to start to become a little bit smelly. And we don't need to change the core essence of who we are as a person, but sometimes it's just some of the behaviours that are blocking your partner from having their needs met. And let me give you an example of this. So before you had children, you came home from work when you felt like it, then came baby number 1. So your partner's needs had changed, asked you to help, and expresses that they would like you to come home earlier. Now imagine saying, nope, this is what I did when we first met and I'm not going to change my ways. You can see how this would cause a huge disconnect between the couple. Being in a relationship means that compromise is necessary. It's a negotiation, and the end result is that you are both happy. So you won't get your way completely, but you will have enough so you are both satisfied. You both need to be equally satisfied. So let's look at some of the benefits of compromise. Number 1, both parties feel satisfied with the end result. Number 2, feelings of being important and validated in the relationship. Number 3, problems can be resolved, stopping the dysfunctional cycle of confrontation on the same subject over and over and over and over and over again. Einstein's theory of insanity, yeah? Doing the same thing over again, expecting a different result. Number 4, both couples feel a greater connection. Of course you do. You understand each other. You're getting your needs met. Awesome. Number 5, the 5th pillar is common goals and direction. Why are goals in a relationship important? Because if you don't make a plan about what you want, then how are you going to achieve it? Let's look at why having common goals are very important to a couple. When a couple first begins their relationship, they have so many common goals. They do nearly everything together. They plan the holidays. Let's go out for dinner. Let's go camping. Let's buy a house. La, 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 la. Then life gets in the way. They start to spend less time together, don't have a clear direction as to where their relationship is going because they did not do a plan. So they become unhappy, lonely, not getting their needs met. They're irritable, and they're not getting their needs met that's required in a relationship. And this could be as simple as just having fun and laughter and being intimate together. Do you know how many couples I see who say, we haven't laughed for years. We haven't been intimate for years. How beautiful would it be to have that fun with your partner again? Having common goals keeps a couple happy, connected and satisfied with their relationship. You are achieving something, you're growing, you're flourishing. Some common goals in a relationship may be relationship goals. What type of relationship do you guys want? Bigger long-term goals, such as a big purchase or an overseas trip. Short-term goals, date night, weekends away, seeing friends, exercising together, and your own personal goals. So remember, you're an individual first. So don't forget that your goals are just as important. Let's look at direction for a minute. What direction do we want our relationship to go in? These are some of the things that you can ask yourself about the direction. They're a little bit different to goals, yeah? What are our values? Shall we create new ones? Do you know you can? You don't have to keep your parents' values. You can actually change them. Make a roadmap that is uniquely for you as a couple. You can go wherever you want. You can create your own personal map. How exciting is that? But you need to communicate and you need to know what you want. The clearer you both are about what direction you want your relationship to take, then the more satisfying you'll become, because you will achieve what you set out to achieve. How awesome is that? Wandering around with a blindfold on, hoping that life will work out, will only cause disappointment, and you might have a few injuries along the way. So that's it from me, from the 5 pillars to a happy, satisfying relationship. I know it was only a little sneak peek. I hope you enjoyed it. I am going to go into more depth with every pillar, starting the next one. So podcast number 3 will be a little bit more in depth about effective communication. And I know you're going to be really excited about that, because it is an extremely exciting subject, but it's also a very important subject to a relationship. So bye for now. Take care, and I'll chat to you soon. Thank you for listening to this episode of Transform Relationships podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to sharing some more time with you again soon. Bye for now.